the master mentalist Erik Dobell from Impossibilities.
And I'm Mike Fowler from Fowler's Clayworks.
And this is What's Up Gatlinburg, your podcast for all things Gatlinburg.
All right.
What was my radio voice? Was that good?
Yeah, it was good, man.
Yeah.
You're getting the hang of it.
Trying to make this retro.
Yeah, it's kind of retro, all right.
See if they got to adjust the dial.
Quit giving up our age. All right. Well, today, as you know, any of you know, I've got a shop here in the arts and crafts community, and one of our newer shops to join in the arts and crafts community is Olie Miller from Smoky Mountain Minerals.
I'm enjoying it here.
Are you, man?
Yeah, great to be in the community.
So you're new.
Yeah, we've been here just a little over a year. We moved here the end of September.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you're brand new then.
Brand new.
Brand new.
Yeah.
And to me, you know, I've been very involved with this community for years. This is one of the most exciting shops I think have come out here in the last. We got a lot of great shops, so don't take that wrong. Don't come hunt me down. But Olie, you know, you come in and it's not just your typical rock shop anymore. You come in and I've got you know, when you first look at something, you're always, when you start asking questions, you know, then you're blown away by how much this man actually knows. Like, of each mineral specimen. I mean, he calls them, I learned specimens.
Yeah.
That's a $10 word.
Yeah.
Well, I hadn't been in the rock business but about 4 or 5 years, and I've really still learning. There's a lot to learn in the rock business. There's so many different specimens and minerals from all over the world, and there's a lot to it. And we do more than just mineral specimens. We have people that are in the metaphysical world. We have metaphysical material. We have fossils, and we're the only silversmith in Gatlinburg.
That's right.
So we custom make jewelry. Nobody else in Gatlinburg can. You can get wire wrap done at other shops,
Yeah.
but you can't get custom made silversmith. And we learn Navajo style jewelry, but we can make anything.
Wow.
And we specialize in opals and turquoise, so we have a little bit of everything at the shop, from low end stuff to high end specimens for museum quality.
Wow.
And you know, and I know you say you've been in the rock business 4 or 5 years, but you've got a little bit of knowledge about archaeology and fossils and all this stuff. So what led you down this path?
Well, it kind of.
I know
strange.
that's a lot. That's a lot there.
It is. I've always been. I've been an arrowhead hunter since I was young, and fossil hunting, just anything. You know, I was a country boy, so just running in the woods and the creeks and picking up cool stuff that you find. And we had a shop down the road here at the Morning Mist. We opened up 2 months before the fire, and the fire, it didn't burn our business down, but it killed us, like it did a lot of people in the community. It really hurt us. And some friends of my wife were going to a gem and mineral show over in Asheville, North Carolina, and I had no interest in going to this show at all. I had a few rocks in my shop, fluorites and different things, but very little. And I agreed to go against my will. She had me by my ears, dragging me over there. And we got to the show, and whenever I walked in, the show was just packed with people, and it was every age group, from 4-year-olds to 100-year-olds in there shopping and looking at rocks. Everybody in there had a big smile on their face. There was every type of person that you can imagine, every nationality, anything you can imagine was there. It was great. And we were walking around and looking, and my wife's friend said, "What is your husband doing?" And my wife looked over, and I'm wheeling a cart of rocks out the door. And she came up, she said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm going in the rock business." She said, "You're going in the rock business?" I said, "Yeah, this is great." I said, "Look at all these people, and everybody's happy." And I said, "The antique business is nothing but old people. And most collectibles, unfortunately, are older people, and the young people are not collecting stuff. Everybody is into rocks. The movies, the video games that the kids are watching, they are finding rocks and crystals, and it's got them. They're healing crystals, you know, Harry Potter, healing of the stones. They've got it all, and so it's a really interesting business, and I've went full force. I
Yes.
literally the next day changed my business from where I was from being an antique shop. I started doing shows, and that's what I've done for the last 4 or 5 years. I've done rock shows across the country.
Yeah.
And we live a half mile from here. We got back from a trip to Alaska, and we were, I don't even know what brought us down here one day to looking in here, and we saw the place for rent.
Yeah.
And I think I came in and talked to one of Mike's assistants. I think it was Crystal working.
Then you came back and talked to me.
Yeah, I came back and talked to Mike, and 2 days later I had the key to the business. And well,
That's a great story.
yeah, I mean, it was just full force, and
I just keep picturing you with a wheelbarrow.
yeah.
Well, you know, and it's funny because I crack up because
Yeah.
he's become a great friend of mine, and
Yeah.
he's always after the deal. So it's like
Did you get a
every
good deal on
week.
those rocks?
Excuse me.
Did you get a good deal on those rocks?
I did. You know, whenever I first, the first time that I went and bought rocks, I literally knew nothing about them. At Asheville, I knew nothing. And somebody told me about the Tucson Gem Show, which is the largest show in the world. And so I told my wife, I said, I'm going to take some money out and buy a bunch of rocks. And she said, you know nothing about rocks. And I said, well, I'm fixing to go in. That's what I'm doing. So we took the family out, and we bought and just loaded up rocks. I would go tent to tent and buy, and I would tell them I would come back in a little bit, and we will load it all up. And as I was loading up, I realized that I had more merchandise than I did truck. And so I asked my wife, I said, can we send the kids back on the Greyhound? I said, they're wasting valuable space in the truck. And she said, no, we're not sending the kids on the Greyhound.
How old are the kids?
They were like 14, maybe 15, I don't know, 16. But she wouldn't do that, and I said, and this is literally what I did. I said, throw the blankets, all of your clothes, your suitcases, get rid of it. Give it to somebody, get it out of this vehicle. I said, you're wasting space. I said, I can put $5,000 worth of merchandise where that suitcase is. And that's what she did. And we got rid of all that stuff. And we packed my truck till it was squatting, and back to Tennessee we came.
Now I'm seeing this as like a Netflix movie. Where,
Well,
like, I'm getting into the rock business. You don't know anything about rocks.
Yeah. It's kind of like the Millers. I mean, we're the Millers. And
The
it was
Millers?
about like the Millers
Yeah.
movie, yeah.
Yeah, so you know, the common theme in the shows we keep hitting on about Gatlinburg and the experience that people have coming here and being happy, kind of like you noticed at that show.
Yeah.
Now watching his shop, people come in and they're happy.
Yeah.
They're happy, especially when they leave, and they love talking to him, just like we're doing here. I mean, he's the same way with the public. You got any good stories with people in there, or just
It's
moments
all, it's great. I love everybody that comes in. That's what makes the rock community, for me, the rock business so good, is that everybody is happy. Like you said, it's hard to make people mad. And if I can go a week without making people mad, I've done pretty good. So that's, it's great that everybody that comes in and they're excited. They come in with big smiles on their
and
face.
you've become a part of their vacation like every other business around here.
Yeah,
too,
we
you
have.
know? You know?
Yeah, we have people come in all the time, and they tell us how they've come and visited you for years and how great you are over there, Mike. And I hope that one day we're like that. And we've already had some people, that have come in that have been here. As a matter of fact, a couple of days ago, we had a couple that came in, and they were getting married, and she wanted me to make her a nice opal ring for her wedding. And she had been in the year before, and whenever they first came in, we had 2 or 3 boxes set out whenever they first visited. So I hope I do become a staple here in the community.
I think it's pretty good. You know, during the warm weather, you had a tank outside, and then they could gem mine.
Yes.
And I got a really good picture of you sitting out there on the ground, and the kids going through their rocks, and he's going right along with them and telling them what they. I mean, it was an awesome moment, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, he just gets so embedded in these guys' time, and I'm sure these kids probably talk about it for months, if not years after. probably ready to come see you next year. You know.
Yeah. Well, they do. They get excited, and we just moved our tank for winter. We're going to move it inside and get it reset up, and but you're right. The kids do get excited, and I enjoy that. I enjoy being able to get down.
It's genuine, man.
It's
you
genuine.
Can tell.
And I love seeing the joy on kids' faces and know that we've got future collectors there, and maybe a future geologist or, you know, it's all there. And it's great. I left here and I had went to Food City and was coming out one day, and all of a sudden somebody hollers, "Olie!" And I turn around and it's two kids and their family, and they had been in the shop, and they stopped again before they left, came back by because the kids had such a great time.
Yeah, it's good stuff,
Yeah.
man. That's why, you know, he's a good asset to Gatlinburg.
Yeah.
His whole operation and the family too.
Yeah.
Your son Hayden, he's a great kid.
Yeah.
You know, you can tell he's got the bug.
We're very fortunate with the kids. That
Yeah.
I've got Hayden really enjoys it. Actually, I've got several kids that enjoy the gym business.
Yeah.
They're just all, unfortunately, life puts
Life
them in other
happens, man.
careers. And
Well, they might be back.
yeah,
Yeah.
And your wife Cindy, she's very plugged in there. She's
oh, she loves it.
yeah.
Yeah, she loves it. I bought her.
She became a believer.
She did, yeah. She did pretty quick. We've been married 26 years, and I've been self-employed my whole life. So she's always helped me through the business.
Yeah.
Not as much as she has this time. This time she really, really enjoys it. Before I felt like I was kind of pressuring her into being there.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now she loves it, and I bought her some equipment so she can cut and polish stones, and now I'm teaching her silversmithing, so she's been making jewelry, and so it's a family affair. Everybody in there is family.
Yeah.
And whenever you come in as a customer, or not a customer, just walk in our door, we treat everybody as family. That's the way I've always been taught. I've been in family business since I was 5 years old. You walk in the door, we say hello to you, we treat you good. Everybody is treated the same. You know, I don't care if you've crawled out of a dumpster or out of a limousine. You get the same respect, and you know, until you deserve different.
I was thinking, well, two things. First, I got to bring my daughter down there. She's 3. And right now she gets really excited about the rocks in the driveway.
Yeah.
So I think what you call it, gem mining, is that what it's called?
Yes.
I think she'd probably be really excited about that. The other thing is kind of a serious question. You said you have metaphysical. What are these metaphysical stones that you have? Like what is that?
You know, personally, they do nothing for me.
Yeah.
I think everybody's brain is tuned different.
Yeah.
One person, it does everything for. The next person, like me, I don't get anything from it, but you've got to be tuned to it. I'm not telling people that it's going to heal your cancer, make your knees feel better.
Yeah.
But I do think that a lot of stones do have, like quartz. Quartz vibrates thousands of times in a second. So there's something to that. Whether you get anything from that, I don't know. I've been to shows. I watched a Chinese man come in, and he put his hand out like this right here, and he walked around the whole show, and he's feeling energy. And do I think he's crazy? No, I don't. He is feeling something that I don't feel, but he's tuned different. Doesn't mean it's not happening.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but I have everything. I've got a list, and I've got A to Z minerals on an application on my phone, so I can pull it up. And you know, if you are into the metaphysical world, I've got stuff for you.
All right, perfect.
From jewelry to stuff you can just set around your house, set in your car while you ride, whatever you want to do.
And you make just any type of jewelry?
Well, I'm a silversmith.
Okay.
So anything you want made with silver, I can do within reason. I'm not going to claim to be the very best in the world. I'm not real intricate. I don't do the little small stones.
Yeah.
I just can't do it. I like bigger stuff. My son does wire wrapping, So anything we can turn into some sort of jewelry for it. We don't do gold and we don't do platinum.
Gotcha.
I do minor repairs.
You don't do platinum, so
I think
can't
your
get
jewelry is
teeth.
very Native American influenced, wouldn't
Yes,
you say?
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Very.
I love turquoise jewelry.
Yeah.
Turquoise and opals, they're my thing. Whenever I was a kid and playing football, we had one of the dads that was one of the fathers of the kids on the team, James Blaylock. He used to run a pool hall up in Nashville, Tennessee, and he was kind of an outlaw guy, a biker type of fella. And he would show up with this big leather hat and all this big gaudy turquoise back in the 70s.
Yeah,
and
it was a big deal.
It was a big deal. And he is who I remember, and still today, he is my role model. He is for turquoise jewelry, yes. And I'm friends with him, and I, as a matter of fact, I talked to him the other day about that, about how he influenced me by seeing that as a kid. Nothing. I don't remember anything else from any other kid's parents except for him, and it's because he stood out. Excuse me. He stood out different from the rest of the parents.
Yeah, sure.
And but
Here he comes full circle.
And now it comes full circle. Yes,
Isn't
it
that
does.
weird?
Yeah.
You would have never thought back then, hey, I'm going to be making turquoise jewelry like
Yes.
the Blaylock.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Now look at you.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool you're bringing back something that at one time it was very prevalent around this area, was turquoise jewelry.
Yes, I
Matter
wouldn't
of
doubt
fact,
that.
there was a turquoise jewelry shop back here years ago.
Yeah.
And where I occupy one of the spaces, he was known here forever, Paul Stewart.
Yeah.
He went away, I think, 2012-ish. He passed away, unfortunately. But he was one of the last ones.
Well, we lost a lot of the craftsmen.
Sure.
Unfortunately, most of the craftsmen of all different trades in the United States have not been passed on. Most countries have generational wealth, and they pass their businesses on and their knowledge. In America, it's like our kids don't want to learn from us, and they don't want to take over your businesses because they've dealt with you for 18 years, and they want to escape us. And they should, and they're missing out. All the crafts are being lost. I go out to the Navajo Nation buying turquoise, and the same thing there. They lost a lot of their old artists. But with the internet has brought out a lot of new artists. Because people can learn on there. They can get on and watch YouTube. They can sit at the house. COVID brought out a lot of that. People sitting at the house and learning stuff. I got fortunate. I had an associate that was a silversmith, and that did Navajo jewelry, but did not want to teach me silversmithing. But I watched, and that's all I did. I watched and I learned from watching. And I took pictures. They'd leave. I'd take pictures of their tools. They'd go away for the weekend. I'd sit down and mess with their stuff. And next thing I know, I made me a ring. And they were upset, too, whenever I showed it to them. They were not happy that I did it because they were afraid I was going to be competition to them.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to teach me. And I took pictures of all their equipment. And about 6-7 months ago, I put my silversmith bench in my shop. I went and bought all the equipment, and I set it up, and I'm a self-taught silversmith, basically what it is. And I've just said and learned, but I love it. And
that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So you used to collect things when you were a kid? Is that what you're saying?
I did. Whenever I was 8 years old, my dad took me arrowhead hunting.
Where was this?
White House, Tennessee.
Okay.
And I found my first arrowhead, and I still have it. I've got it at the shop, as a matter of fact. Yep, and a board. And he took me arrowhead hunting, and we lived out in the country, no other kids around, so all I could do is run around in the country. So I hunted the fields and the creeks and picked up arrowheads and and my grandmother, she was a modern-day slave, literally.
Okay.
Both her parents died at 3 years old. She was born in 1911.
Oh,
and both her parents died 3 years old. and she was passed from, she was basically sold farm to farm to farm.
Oh man.
As a picking cotton and a work hand down in Memphis, Tennessee. That was her life. And she grew up poor, and she would go to dumps, and she would get old bottles, and she would get old furniture and fix it up and sell it to make a living. And I remember as a kid, she would take me in Memphis to these old dumps, and she would dig out these old blue bottles. And if she found a blue bottle, she thought she was in heaven. You'd never seen anybody so happy. So that got me collecting too. And so my whole life, I've just been a treasure hunter. And I've just always been in it. And I got into archaeology whenever I was about 11. A gentleman took me out excavating. I dug up my first arrowhead, and I was hooked on rocks. And so I've always just been a treasure hunter.
Yeah, before the show, I was briefing Erik a little bit about you, and I told him the story about, I said I had this axe head.
Yeah.
And I brought it, and I'm telling you, man, right off the bat, he seen it, and he told me exactly when it was. It blew my mind.
Yeah.
About 5,000 years old, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Because I first thought, like I was telling you, it was 400, 500, 600 years old, you know.
Yeah.
But I went back and looked it up, and he was right. Spot on.
Yeah.
You know, spot on. But at that age, today you brought it, people can look up on the internet and find out things. How did you find out this kind of information at that age? I know you.
Well, that age, I didn't know anything.
Right.
I was just finding arrowheads, didn't know anything about them. Whenever I was about 11, my dad had a CB shop and worked on CB radios. And from the time I was 8 till I was 32, I worked on CB radios. I took his business over. And we had this guy that used to come in our shop, and he was kind of crazy. And
At a CB radio shop?
yeah,
No way.
yeah, he was kind of crazy, but he was a big arrowhead hunter.
Yeah.
And that's all he did. And he made homemade wine, sold wine. And my dad never would let me go out anywhere with him. He'd always say, well, come on, I'll take you arrowhead hunting. Well, finally, whenever I was 11, my dad finally let me go arrowhead hunting with him. He's the one that took me digging. And he was, he got me into that nonstop. But the first time I came up to him with an arrowhead that I'd found, I said, look at this arrowhead I found, and I was all excited. And he looked at it and he says, it's broke. And I said, what do you mean it's broke? And he pointed out one little nick on it. And he said, it's broke. He said, see that nick? He said, we're hunting perfect stuff. And then he told me what type of arrowhead it was. And it was like a big sandy, which it's a type of arrowhead that was made 4,000 to 8,000 years ago. And so he would explain to me what all these pieces were. And then I went and he went to his house, and he had everything. So he's showing me the axes and different things, and he's explaining to me about time periods. And we've had prehistoric people here about 15,000 years, maybe longer, in the United States. Nobody in the United States past 1,200 years is kin to anybody past 1,200 years in our country. So we've had 4 mass die-outs in the United States, and we probably had as many people here then as we do now that had died out and disappeared.
Wow.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he told me that fact about even the native population, to the Navajos and stuff, they're not related to these people, right?
But most of the stone tools that we find, there's nobody in the United States that are kin to them people that made them. That's the reason they have the Native American Grave Reparation Act, and they passed it, I think, in the 80s at some time, and it was where any modern tribe that can claim DNA lineage to any artifacts that are in the museums that are state or federally ran, they can claim them. So they could claim their headdresses and their bonnets and all that, and their leather stuff, and some pottery, but they couldn't claim the arrowheads and all that stuff, and the axes and the old pottery, because they're no kin to them, and that's the reason they didn't do it. Now they've changed something, and they're starting to try to claim that too. But that's all just all knowledge, that from learning it all. But there's a lot, just like these rocks over here that I sell. There's a lot you got to learn. Yeah. And it just takes years.
So not only can you come into his shop and see specimens, but you get history lesson too.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
Yeah. History, it's funny, I hate to say this, but I failed history in school. I hated history. I took history 4 years in high school, finally passed it my senior year just to graduate. And I had no interest in that, but I had interest in prehistoric history.
Yeah.
So I would go to the library, and I would skip a study hall and go to the library and read about prehistoric history and about the Indians. They're not even the Indians. They're pre-Native American. They're the true Native Americans is what they are. The true natives, I guess. They're not Native Americans. They're natives.
Yeah, I didn't know any of that.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. This is cool.
I'm just processing this. I'm like, oh.
So where can people find you, Olie?
So I'm here in the community, here in the arts and crafts community. Smoky Mountain Minerals. I'm right beside Fowler's Clay Works. Best place to be. I think we have the very best spot in Gatlinburg. Whenever you come in, you're got to stop right in front of our business.
Right here at Light 3A, baby.
Yeah, you're seeing our sign. It's hard to miss us. But
and that address is 1402 East Parkway, in case you guys didn't know that.
Yeah, that's
Are you
correct.
on social media?
I'm on Facebook. I don't do much on there. We stay so busy at the shop. I don't get on enough. Occasionally, we will get on and do live internet sales where we'll get on and sell new collections that we get.
And where would they find this? Is that Olie's Opals or?
Well, I have Olie's Opals, and that's OLIES Opals, and you can get on and check out all my opal stuff. And then Smoky Mountain Minerals, and that's on Facebook. And the one in Gatlinburg, there's probably a few of them across the United States. Make sure you look at Gatlinburg, Tennessee. But there's lots of great stuff. Y'all can come in. And I've got more than just rocks, too. I sell coins, pocket knives, fossils.
He's got neat stuff, man.
I've got great fossils. I'm constantly fossil hunting.
Erik will be over there today. I can tell.
Yeah. I gotta get my daughter. I think she's gonna really like this.
And then I buy collections too, and that's the other thing Mike was said something about earlier. I'm always, I love the hustle of a deal. My wife fusses at me because I stay on Marketplace at night looking for deals to buy.
Well, I'll come in the shop one day and I'll be like, I'm heading out of town. I'll see you in a day or two. Keep it for it.
You could call me in California and tell me you've got a good collection, and I will pack up my bags and I will be in California in 3 days. I'll be there to buy.
And I've witnessed the truck come back squatted on the back too from having so much.
Any size collection, I can buy it. That's what I'm into.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. I thank you for coming on and being a guest.
Yeah, thank you.
I've really enjoyed it.
We'll get you back later.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about how Smoky Mountain Minerals and because I'll guarantee you there'll be a whole new show in about a year from now what he's gotten into. Yeah. I can see the future.
I've got a big collection I just bought. I'm fixing to unwrap. That's what I'm fixing to do.
But thank you again, Olie, and thank you for being a member of the community. I think you're an asset to Gatlinburg. I think you're a big part of what made this place it is today. And just another spot on, just another great spot to visit while you're here. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it. I've really enjoyed it, and I'm really proud to be a part of the community. Yeah. Everybody out here is great. You're great. You couldn't have had a better neighbor, and to move in next to you. We, like he said, we've become good friends. We sit and BS all the time, and it's good. A lot of times neighbors they're so worried about the other person doing better than the other person that they forget that part of it.
Yeah.
And but it's good. I appreciate it, Mike.
My name is Erik Dobell.
I'm Mike Fowler.
And I'm Olie Miller.
And thank you so much again for coming on here. Really, really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
I want to let you guys know if you.
Thank you very much.
Oh, you're getting up before my final speech?
Oh, I know. I was just giving that good handshake.
You gotta know
forward.
how to listen, right? Yeah. You gotta know how to listen to the podcast. You can listen to yourself you can play it in the shop on repeat.
I will do that.
But yeah, go ahead. Make sure you subscribe to this podcast if you enjoyed it. Also share it with your friends. If you didn't enjoy it, subscribe and listen. Share it with your friends. Leave a comment on Spotify, YouTube. Leave a review. Every little bit, we're trying to really push this out there and get as many listeners as we can. Get that sweet Sherry Berries endorsement. Yeah. You got anything you want to say?
Yeah, and just remember and check out the Facebook, like Erik said, check out Facebook, Instagram, also the website for What's Up Gatlinburg.
We're also on the TikTok.
On TikTok, and we'll have links there for our guests, so you can find them there too.
Yep. Check out the website, whatsupgatlinburg.com. And if you have any email, or if you have any questions, you can email us at whatsupgatlinburg@gmail.com.
And if you've got suggestions too for guests that you'd like to see on here,
let us know. Yeah.
All right.
James, you owe me a Coca-Cola.
Okay. All right, guys. Have a great one.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.